I'm at the Mcintosh sugar mill ruins over here in Camden County. This is the entrance to Kings Bay, Spur 40 right here in Camden County, St. Mary's, Georgia. I'm about to go check out this sugar mill ruins over here. Okay, this is a little cool trail, and you can see the sugar mill ruins back there. And no trespassing after sunset, no camping in the park, no alcoholic beverages. And they got a trail, looks like a trail goes that way. And got the sign, the marker, and they got a picnic table over there. Tabby Sugar Works of John Houston Mcintosh. These are the ruins of the Tabby Sugar Works built by John Houston Mcintosh at New Canaan Plantation soon after 1825. In his sugar house, Mcintosh installed what was, according to Thomas Spalding, the first horizontal cane mill worked by cattle power. Mcintosh, born in 1773, which is now Mcintosh County, settled in East Florida as a young man, became leader of a group called American Citizens, who during the War of 1812 plotted the annexation of East Florida to the United States. Walking down this trail to get to the sugar mill ruins, I'm going to give you some history about this sugar mill ruins that I've done research on. It was built by John Mcintosh in 1826. It was tabby built, of course, by shell, lime, sand, dowel rods, all that. Located at 3013 Charles Smith Senior Highway on Spur 40 in St. Mary's, Georgia, right across from the submarine base, the main gate of the submarine base. After the War of 1812, John Mcintosh started New Canaan Plantations, which was two small plantations that were combined into one in 1819. The sugar mill was modeled after Thomas Spalding's sugar mill design that was also in Mcintosh and Sapelo Island and everywhere else. Sugar mill operation went into operation in 1829. After Mcintosh's death in 1836, New Canaan was sold to Caroline Hallows in 1840. Plantation was changed to Bowling Brook and was there until after the end of the Civil War. Caroline Hallows used the tabby structures to make starch for arrowroot. Not sure what arrowroot is, but pretty interesting. Sugar mill created a large amount of labor to create the sugar in the process. This sugar mill has 3 rooms, which was part of the process. The central room had an earth floor, a dirt floor basically, because of the heat. And each end rooms had wooden floors because of the process it did. Which is the one we're looking at, was the room that contained the crushed sugar cane to get the sweet juice, the sugar cane juice out of the cane that they cut down in the nearby plantation. The plan for the sugar mill was purchased from West Point Foundry in New York City. The mill room was 2 stories high. So this was actually 2 stories high at one time. With animals down below. So they had animals down below turning the mill to grind the sugar mill and all that. You see how tabby they're making in layers? They start at the bottom and work their way up in layers. And you see these holes there are dowel rods to use to make each layer of the tabby. So they started making in layers and they built it all the way up to this point. But these are the tabby rooms of the John Mcintosh sugar mill. Had 3 rooms that basically it was cattle driven. They used it for, they had these 3 different rooms for the process, different than the other sugar mills I've seen. Let's go in and see it. Yeah, look at this. This is the room. This is the first room, the east room, which was used. They used to crush the sugar cane. After they cut it, brought it from the plantation, they brought it here, and they crushed the sugar cane in this very room right here to make the juice that comes from the sugar cane. They pressed it and made the juice out of it. And this was a wooden floor at the time, because all this was wood at the bottom at one time right here in this sugar mill area right here. But look at this. Just look at this tabby. This is awesome. You see it up there? You see these different rooms for the processes. See those little. See, that's where the floor. These were where to put the beams in for the floor right here. And they had the cattle at the bottom turning the mill in the middle room. But look at this. This is awesome. And see, it's got another, this is the one room, but it's got rooms within the rooms. You can see again where they had the floor. But look at that. So I'm about to go, look at that hole there. Makes you wonder what that was. About to go in this middle room. You got to step up, so be careful. Okay, this is the middle room. This was a dirt floor, or earthen floor, as they said, because of the high temperatures in here. This is the room where they extracted the juice and boiled it into a syrup. So it was really hot in here. So they had to have a dirt floor because it would catch fire. So they had to make this a dirt floor. The syrup was allowed to crystallize into granules and molasses and drained off. This middle room had a dirt floor because the heat and the open flame to boil the syrup. The boiling process involved a multiple kettles that allowed different stages of condensing the juice in the syrup. This is really interesting. But this was wooden floor back then. I mean, this was a dirt floor back then because of the heat. Look at that. There's a little window in there for some reason. But the mill in that first room had the cattle underneath going around using cows or horses or whatever to grind the sugar cane into juice. And then they sit it in this room to boil it so that they can cool it and crystallize it. Look at this little cool room right here. Wow. This is supposed to be the largest and most preserved tabby works in the South. I can see why. This is massive. I've been to a lot of different tabbies, and this one is probably the most preserved. You can see the crushed shell as it goes up in layers up there. Now just look at that. This is in St. Mary's, Georgia, right across from the naval base. Look at that. This is so awesome. It's not far from Brunswick if you're coming from Brunswick. So I'm gonna go through this last room. Hey, this room I'm about to go into, the last room, where the syrup was poured into a container and allowed to crystallize into granules sugar as you know it today. This has got the most unique structure. As I said, this was all 2 stories back in the day. Both sugars and crystal molasses were used for fuel for this middle room, for the boil of the sugar, and also for the feed the cows as well, the animals. This sugar mill are 120 feet by 75 feet in 3 rooms, as I just took you through. The mill burned in the 1800s, so they never restored it, just left it. And a lot of people do weddings out here. They use this background for weddings and everything. But this is the sugar mill, Mcintosh Sugar Mill in St. Mary's on Spur 40, right across from the submarine base. But this is the middle room, the hot room where they had they boiled everything. See all this? Now, this is the last room where they let it turn into sugar. They let it cool and turn into sugar into granules. And the byproduct was given to animals and also to refuel. A good way to recycle. But just look at this architecture right here. Wow. You can see the windows are in there. Look at that. T-shape in there. This is really cool. This is a really impressive tabby structure here. We'll go through this doorway, see what's out here. About to walk through this doorway, see what's outside this tabby ruins out here. See, that's impressive right there. There's a trail. They said they have trails out here you can walk through. Out here at the Mcintosh tabbies ruins. But look at this is the outside. And this is the very, very back side of it right here. This is the west side of it. See? And there's a peek through into the other rooms. But that's really impressive. Look at that. Mcintosh Sugar Mill. 1800s. Horizontal design. Because most sugar mills had a big chimney you had to cook the stuff with and all that. Look at this. This is the other side. Back here. Really impressive. But this is a big sugar mill out here. Different than all the other ones. The ones in Brunswick has different ones. That's with the chimney. They cooked it and everything. This is the outside of that middle room right here. You can see where they had the big columns here. And this is inside that room I was just looking through. But like I said, those holes are dowel rods. And part of the building, the tabby works. They had to put dowel rods in there because each layer, you could tell each, it's in each layer. It was built from the bottom, and you can see the different layers. You see a layer there, and so forth and so on. But this is the back part of it here. The middle room, the outside of it, with the impressive columns. Really cool. I'm gonna walk to this other side over here, the east room, or the first room. And this is the outside of that. See that? It's impressive. You can see the layers here real good. See the layers? One layer here, one layer here, a layer here, then the dowel rod to hold it, and all the way up, and this is probably the windows. And going back to the front. And like I said, this first room is where they squeeze the juice out of the sugar cane so they can boil it, make it into a syrup, and then with this, they take the syrup and cool it off, and it becomes sugar after it dries. Learned something new today. But this is the sugar mill ruins, the Mcintosh sugar mill ruins in Camden County, St. Mary's. The room where the animals were that turned the millstone to make the sugar cane and the juice. They take the sugar cane and turn it into juice right here. So I'm sure the animals were like somewhere in here, because you could tell it was built. There's the floor there. They had wooden floors on this room, and the last room, the middle room, was earth or dirt because of the heat, because they didn't want to catch on fire. Look at that view. This is the first room. Awesome. Yes, this is pretty awesome. This is the last room where the sugar dried before it became sugar granules. Just a really awesome site out here. You can just look at this tabby. See how it like looks on the side. They made it smooth. They put boards on there to keep it smooth for the windows. This is the far side, the other side of the sugar mill over here. See the big gigantic window? Looking through that way. And they got the columns over here. Those are massive. Look at that. And there's another entrance there. Look at this. The little diagonals there. This is really cool. Mcintosh. And here's the far side of it right here. Another doorway. Awesome. This is the look at the sugar mill from this side, the last room. Simple room set up where they dried. And this is the room where the boiling process happened right in here. In this area right here. You got another room kind of like similar to this on the other side, but this is the view. You see it on the far side over there, but this is where the area got really hot. But you gotta remember, there was 2 stories on this place. Guess the top was wood. Awesome. Little short door. But check these diamond shapes out. That's pretty cool. Probably little feeder areas. Going through here. This is the middle room. There's the second room. But then you can check this out. There's a deep drop right there, so you got to be careful when you go down. But this is really cool. About to go out the last spot right here. About to exit. But this little Mcintosh sugar mill part right here, across from the St. Mary's Kings Bay in St. Mary's, Georgia. I'll give you one more view of the sugar mill. This is from the front. 1800s. Look at this. This is straight through. Straight through. Basically goes, this is the first room, second room, and then the third room back there. Just like a big rectangle. Let's go. The county government and the city of St. Mary's did a really good job keeping this up. Good. Thank you for doing that, so we can come out here and enjoy this park out here. This is one of the huge windows. Not sure what it's for. I guess to feed the stuff through. But that's really awesome view. Yeah, these walking trails are supposed to go all the way to Crooked River Park. So another day I might go through them. But there's walking trails that's supposed to go down to Crooked River Park, which is not very far down the road from here. But this is an awesome site. You got to come out and see this. This is right across from Kings Bay main gate on Spur 40. Put in your GPS, the Mcintosh Sugar Ruins, it'll take you right here. It's very easy to find. Just find the main gate to Kings Bay, and it's right across the street from it. A little park. You got to look really hard or you'll miss it. But this is in St. Mary's, Georgia, on Spur 40 or Charlie Smith Sr. Road. But this is a little nice little area. Mcintosh, Camden County, and the city of St. Mary's did a good job keeping this up.